What's going on, Facebook fam? It's your man, Dr. Will, and you guys know the deal. Let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. As you're coming in, let me know. I'm on the beautiful island of St. Martin, and I just wanted to come in here. What's today? Today is Friday. Come in here and chat with you guys. Just got finished up with some coaching calls. Now, my mind is just going, what's going on, Jermaine? And so I wanted to let it out. It is morning time, Halana, in Vietnam. All right. Good morning. Good morning. So as you guys are coming in, please let me know where you are. If you are a speaker, an author, a consultant, an influencer, someone who wants to impact people, what's going on, Dennis? You're going to want to stick around and listen to this training. If you know somebody that is a speaker, an author, a consultant, please tag them. If you can't stay long, please comment so you'll be reminded to come back, right? Because what I'm going to share with you is literally five things that I did, guys, that built my influence in my particular arena. It'll work in any arena, but in my speaking arena, the 5 things I did to build my influence that took me from being unknown to building a major speaker brand, being able then to retire from professional speaking, and then move to St. Martin, where I invest a lot of my time throughout the year. Still have a residence in Phoenix, and so I do the split thing, Phoenix and St. Martin. And so the things that I'm getting ready to share with you are the exact things that I did to build my influence, and it'll work for anybody that's willing to work it. That's always the catch, right? Will it work? Everybody always asks me, Dr. Will this work for me? It will only work if you work it. So guys, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how to build your influence. No matter what arena that you're in, this will work for you. So I'm going to share with you 5 things that I personally did to go from being unknown to being named the #1 speaker in Arizona, to being one of the top 30 Black influencers in America, to being named one of the top leaders to follow on Twitter, to all different types of awards, to being named Business Person of the Year, being named Veteran Company of the Year. So all these wonderful things that have happened in my life, I'm going to share with you exactly what I did. So I hope that sounds good to you guys. Hope you have a piece of paper, have a pen so you can take some notes. Once again, if you can't stay around all the way, just leave a comment so when someone makes a comment, you'll be reminded to come back and watch this at a later date. So let's get right into it, guys. How to build your influence. Why is this so important? Several weeks ago, I did a webinar for over 100 people. And on that webinar, I shared with them the concept of build your influence and increase your income. Build your influence and increase your income. So more influence, more income. Somebody type that for me. More influence, more income. More influence, more income. So it's important and it's vital, no matter what you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, small business person, whether you're a career professional, even on your job, you got to build your influence. You got to build your influence. People need to know you're the go-to person. People need to know you're the go-to person. So more influence, more income. So the very first thing you want to do to build your influence is you have to double down on a particular thought or idea. You have to double down on a particular thought or idea. Even if you're in the career arena, meaning you go to a 9 to 5, whatever your job is, you need to double down that I'm going to be the very best in this position. You got to double down on that. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to double down on this one thought, this one idea. You got to double down on that. So what is the one idea? What is the one idea that you can convey over and over and over? I call it your Big Mac. What is your Big Mac? Everybody knows McDonald's is known for the Big Mac. Everybody knows McDonald's is known for the Big Mac. So it's not just a hamburger, guys. Even though it has a bun, even though it has meat, it's not just known as a hamburger. So I want you to think about this. Whatever you do, whatever industry you're in, you don't want to just be thought of as a real estate agent. You don't want to just be thought of as a lawyer. You don't want to just be thought of as a speaker, as a author. What is the one idea that you can double down on? So although I was a professional speaker, when people would come and ask me to speak, I just didn't speak about anything. I spoke about my one idea. And for those of you who follow me, you know my one idea is genius. Live genius, genius potential, right? So you want to double down on your idea. So inside this book, I shared my philosophies and my ideology on what it means to live genius, what genius potential is. So I want you to think about that. I want you to type that down. What is your one thought? What is your one idea? It could be no child should go hungry. It should be leaders are readers. It could be end domestic violence now. It could be start your business today. Buy your dream home today. What is your one idea? Type it down as you're listening to me. What is the one idea that you can double down on, that you could talk about at length, that you can talk about at length? What is your one idea that somebody could wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you could talk about it? I want you guys to type that in. What is the one idea? For me, it was talking about genius. It was talking about human potential. The human potential. I believe that inside of all of us is a better person screaming to get out. Screaming to get out. Why was I so passionate about that? Because I'm a former gangbanger. I'm a former drug dealer. I was headed down the wrong road. I did a 180-degree turn. I went from the courthouse to speaking in the White House. I went from the courthouse to speaking in the White House. So that was my one idea. I believed and still do that everyone has a genius that they need to identify, that they need to develop, and that they need to release into the world. So what's your one idea? What's your one thought? Now, I know if you're like me, you may be saying, Dr. Will, but I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of thoughts. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I can do this. I can do that. I learned to do this. I went to school for that. I get all of that. Yes, McDonald's has the filet of fish. McDonald's has the quarter pounder. McDonald's has the chicken wrap. McDonald's has chicken McNuggets. But you know McDonald's for the Big Mac. So what is your Big Mac? So TC said the word, and our words create change. So that is her prevailing thought, that words create change. So if TC was speaking, TC would talk about how powerful your words are. And when TC talked, you would believe that if you changed the way you talked, you would change your life. So what is your one thought? What is your one idea that when you wake up in the morning, you can talk about it? When you go to bed at night, you're talking about it. You read books about it. You go to conferences about it. You take courses about it. What is it for you? For me, mine was once again human potential. I read over 700 books on human potential, on personal development. So what is the one idea? What is the one thought? Somebody else give me some more ideas. What are some more of you guys' ideas? Write it down. Write it down. Exactly, TC. It bridges the gap now. Guys, this is how we build influence. And influence is another word for momentum. If you want momentum in your brand, you want momentum in your business, and you want momentum in your bank account, this is how you build the momentum. This is how you build the influence. So while you're thinking about it, write it down. What's your one thought? The second thing you need to do to build your influence, number one, is choose one idea, one thought. Number two is be consistent. Be consistent. What do I mean by be consistent? Every day, every hour, every platform, every opportunity, you should be talking about your Big Mac. You should be talking about your Big Mac. When someone talks to you, they should be able to say, can you talk about anything else? And you should be able to say, I cannot. This thing consumes my life. It consumes my being. You got to be consistent, showing up every single day. For those of you who have followed me for the last 10 years, mainly on this Facebook platform, if you come to my page every day, I'm going to share with you something that's going to make you think about becoming a better person. For the last 10 years, Monday through Friday, if you come to my page, you will find out I'm consistent. I love how Facebook, they give us these memories, right? You pop up your Facebook page and they have memories and they say on this day, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I love it because every time it pops up, I'm talking about the same thing. I'm talking about the same thing from 10 years ago, talking about the same thing from since I got on Facebook. Whenever you come to my channel, whenever you come to my page, we're going to be talking about what you need to do to be a better version of yourself. So you got to be consistent, guys. If you're going to build influence, if people are going to trust you to talk about that thing, they have to see that you're consistent. For you that are speakers, authors, and consultants, if people, you're talking about raising your influence, you're talking about being, we like to use the word sought after. If you want people to come and look for you, when someone says, who can talk about human potential? Man, that's Dr. Will. He talks about genius all the time. He talks about genius potential. He talks about living genius. People contact me all the time and say, Dr. Will, I was reading something and I read the word genius and I thought about you. That's what you want people to say about you. When they connect a word, when they connect a phrase, they should be able to connect with you. They should be able to connect with you. Let me give you an example. Who uses this phrase? Get ready, get ready, get ready. Who uses that phrase? Get ready, get ready, get ready. Who uses that phrase? Somebody type in who uses that phrase. Somebody tell me who uses that phrase. If you're familiar with that phrase, tell me who uses that phrase. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, Cheryl. TD Jakes. You see that? Me and Cheryl didn't talk before I did this live. She didn't talk. I didn't talk to her before I did this live. But he is known around the world for saying, get ready, get ready, get ready. You see that? So what phrase can you connect to yourself? What words, what thought have you been consistently saying that when I say it, somebody can connect with you? I'm just trying to see on my other phone you guys' comments because it's not coming up here So hold on. I want to see your comments. So when you think about that, TD Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready. Right? Me and Cheryl. All right. Now I can see now I can see you guys' comments. Here we go. TD Jakes. Jamal said, change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. So when I think about Jamal, all I should be thinking about is, oh, he's the change your mindset, change your life guy consistently. He's the change your mindset, change your life. No matter what he's presenting, he should be presenting it in a way. I know Jamal sells and works with real estate, but not only does he work with real estate, he talks about changing your mind, about changing your lifestyle and changing your wealth, right? And changing your wealth through real estate. And to get into real estate, you got to change your mind. So even though he's involved in real estate, he's still talking about you need to change your mind about your finances. You need to change your mind about the way you invest your money. And if you do that, you'll change your life. He's consistent about that. He's consistent about that. So guys, when we talk about building your influence, the way people gain confidence in you, the way people want to seek you out, it's because, man, this person's consistent. I don't know how many times, how many emails I've gotten when people said, Dr. Will, we've been following you now for years and we like your message. Well, how could they follow me for years? Because I was consistent. How could they know what my message was? Because I chose one thought and I talked about that thought all the time. I was consistent about talking about that thought. When they came to my page, I wasn't talking about this or that or the other. I was always talking about bettering yourself, releasing your genius potential. So number one, guys, how we're going to build our influence, we're going to be consistent. We're going to choose a thought, one thought. Number two, we're going to be consistent. And then number three, guys, we're going to create content. We're going to create content around that idea. We're going to create content around that idea. So, right? We're going to create content. So I started writing books. Here's one of the books. You guys saw Genius Potential. I've written over 50 books as it relates to becoming a better version of yourself. Becoming a better version of yourself. I just told you guys earlier, I read over 700 books in terms of personal development, mindset, psychology, and all these books about becoming a better person, right? So then what I did was I wrote this book, 22 Success Lessons. And what I did was I took some of the conversations that I had with individuals and I just put it in a book. It helped me. I said, okay, maybe it'll help somebody else. So I had an opportunity to be mentored by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. So I talk about that relationship in the book. Had an opportunity to be mentored by Dr. George C. Frazier. So I talk about that in the book. I had an opportunity, one of my good friends, Melinda Emerson, we had opportunities to talk about success and entrepreneurship. I've interviewed her several times, so I talk about that in the book. I'm creating content, guys. I'm creating content about my major thought, right? I had an opportunity to be mentored by Magic Johnson, so I talk about that in the book. And so all these amazing people, Les Brown, I talk about it. Peter J. Daniels, I talk about it in the book, right? All these amazing people that have mentored me. I had an opportunity to interview and chat with Hall of Fame basketball player and coach Lenny Wilkins. So I talk about it in this book. I'm creating content, guys. I'm creating content. Right? I'm creating content around my prevailing thought. I'm creating content around my prevailing thought. So you want to do interviews, you want to write blogs, you want to do videos, sharing consistently about what you know about that thought or that idea. So sharing consistently about what you know. And so I use this platform, Facebook, to share what I know about personal development, about human potential, about maximizing the best parts of yourself. So number one, if you haven't written a book around your content, you need to think about that. Writing a book around your content so people can walk away. When they hear you, see you, touch you, taste you, whatever, they can walk away with more of you, right? What's some more of his philosophies? What's some more of her philosophies? Let's elaborate. Let's go deeper. I wrote this book because Genius Potential, because people kept saying to me, Dr. Will, how did you go from being a gangbanger, a drug dealer, getting arrested several times? How did you change your life around? So many people had asked me that question, and I couldn't go elaborate and go in depth with it at every event that I would speak at to over hundreds and thousands of people. So I wrote the book. I would speak to them from stage for 45 minutes to an hour. But then I would say, man, if you get the book, it goes in deeper. I tell you step by step how I was able to identify my genius, how I was able then to start developing my genius, how I went from incompetent to competent to good to great to genius. And I teach them in the book how to change your mindset when you're at the incompetent stage, because we all start being incompetent, meaning we're newbies, we're new at this. That's when you're making your mistakes. That's when you're learning the business. That's the incompetent. Then you get to competent level where, okay, you're starting to get a little traction. You're starting to sound like you know what you're talking about. You're starting to show your passion. I just gave you another idea. Good thing, Justin, good thing, right? So now you go from incompetent to competent, from competent because now you're doing the work. You're doing the work. When I was competent, that's when I read the 700 books. In that stage of the game, that's where I read 700 books, because I wanted to go from being competent to I wanted to get good at what I was doing. I wanted to get good at what I was doing. And then I went from good to being great. I got great at talking about human potential. I got great at talking about releasing the genius on the inside of you. And then I took it to the genius level. I took it to the genius level, and I built a business. I built a business around this concept. I built businesses around this concept of releasing your genius. All right. So you want to create content. So number one, guys, if we're going to build our influence, we got to pick a thought. We have to pick a thought, one idea. If you chase two rabbits, you'll lose both of them. So we want to hunt one rabbit. We want to chase one idea that we can get known for. The second thing is you want to be consistent. Constantly communicate about that. Then you want to create content, various types of content, videos, books, blogs, vlogs. You want to do podcast interviews. Maybe you want to start your own podcast, but you want to get your content out there. The fourth thing I did, guys, was I leverage relationships. I leverage relationships. What do I mean by that? So because I picked this one idea, I started being known for that one idea. Human potential, genius potential. I started being known for that one idea because I was consistent, and because I started creating content around it. I began to develop some awesome relationships. I started developing some awesome relationships. Remember, guys, I told you in the beginning, I went from being virtually unknown. No one knew me as a speaker. I was living in Germany for 15 years. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. I didn't know anybody in Phoenix, Arizona. Never lived in Phoenix, Arizona before. And I was able to build my brand by doing exactly what I'm telling you. And so I went from being a virtual unknown to sharing the stage with Les Brown, to sharing the stage with Lisa Nichols, from sharing the stages with the biggest and best names in my industry, being called to go all around the world. I've been to 50 different countries to talk about human potential, genius potential. And so I started leveraging relationships, right? I started leveraging these relationships. How do I do that? How do I do that? Because they saw I was consistent in what I was doing. And so now they would bring me on their stages. They would bring me on their podcasts. They would want to partner with me. We would do what we call JV, joint venture projects. And so I began to leverage, to build the influence. You may not know me, but do you know Les Brown? Okay, this is what Les Brown is saying about Dr. Will. You may not know me, but do you know Lisa Nichols? Okay, Lisa Nichols is saying this is a guy you should listen to. You understand? So I began to leverage these relationships because they began to see the value in what I was offering. And so once you get to this level, guys, this genius level, there's not a competition at the genius level. There's no competition at the genius level. It's just collaboration at the genius level. Think about it like the 1992 Dream Team. And so even for myself, that's what I look to do, is partner with other people who are genius at what they do. And so at the genius level, there is no competition. It's only collaboration at the genius level because they respect what I do and I respect what they do. They understand that I bring something special to the table and I realize that they bring something special to the table. And so they're not intimidated when they go onto the stage and they're not intimidated when I go on stage. We complement each other. Because at this level, there's no competition. This is why Microsoft and Apple work together. This is why Sony and all the other they work together. They work together. Right? It's only low-level thinking people that think they need to compete. It's only low-level thinking people that think they need to compete. But at the genius level, there is no competition. There's only collaboration. I sat in the room around the table with the biggest of names. And all we did was, Will, this is your part. Les, this is your part. Jack Canfield, this is your part. And then we brought it together. I never hear at that level. I got an idea, but I don't want to share it with you because I'm afraid somebody in the room would steal it. We never have those conversations. It's always, Jack, what are you working on? Les, what are you working on? Will, what are you working on? We're not sitting back saying, oh, I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I don't want nobody to steal my idea. Because it's only collaboration. They're saying, oh, okay, let me see if I can help you bring that to the masses. Let me see if let me share that with my group. You know, I just earlier today, I just did a podcast interview with my good buddy Steve Sims, and for my new podcast coming out. Because I'm not intimidated by what Steve does, I'm able to say, Steve, offer to my audience. I brought him to my audience. I brought him to my speaker academy. And I said, Steve, share with them what you're doing. And I told my audience, man, go to Steve's page. If you see something there that can help you become better, invest in it. I'm not intimidated because those that are for me are for me. So I'm not intimidated. The people that dig Dr. Will, dig Dr. Will. So I'm not intimidated. I can't lose anybody that's supposed to be with me. I can't lose anybody that's supposed to be connected to me. right? And so it may have been you was only connected to me for me to lead you to Steve. And if you hear his voice and you say, man, I resonate with that voice. I resonate, man, the best to you. The best to you. Right? I'm not, oh my God, why did they leave? Oh my God. No, I'm the best to you. All right. So number one, pick a thought, guys. We're talking about building your influence so you can build your income. So number one, pick a thought, pick an idea that resonates with you, that you can be excited about talking about all day long. Number two, be consistent. Be consistent. Keep showing up. Keep showing up, sharing your message. Create content is number three. Create content. Create content. Create content, guys. Write books, write blogs, do videos, create content. Number four, leverage relationships. Leverage relationships. Start partnering with the right people. Start collaborating with the right people. At the genius level, there is no competition. There's only collaboration. So start collaborating. And then here's the fifth thing, guys. Here is the fifth thing. Here's the game changer. Here is the game changer, guys. Are you guys ready for this? Here is the game changer. Honor what you do. This is how you build your influence, guys. Honor what you do. If you decide to show up, if you make the choice to show up, bring your A game, no matter what it is that you do. If you decide to show up to work, bring your A game. If you decide to show up, you don't have to show up. You don't have to show up. But if you decide to show up, bring your A game. Honor what you do. When I was a professional speaker, I don't care if there was one person in the room. And I don't care if that individual was blind and deaf. They were going to get 100% of me because I honor what I do. I honor what I do. I deem what I do a privilege. I deem it a privilege. So anytime someone would honor me by saying, Dr. Will, would you come and speak to our group? Or would you come and speak to this person? I honor what I do. I gave it 100% every single time because it's not about who showed up. It's I showed up. Let me say that again. It's not about who showed up. My game is predicated on I showed up. I remember in the early years, people would invite me and they would say, Dr. Will, would you come speak at our group? Would you come and share with our group? I would show up and they would be a little embarrassed. They would say, Dr. Will, we thought the numbers were going to be a little bit better. We thought, we contacted 200, 300 people, 100 people told us they were coming. And I would always look at them and say, don't worry about it. The people who are supposed to be here are here, and you're still going to get my best. You're still going to get my best. I never let the crowd determine my performance. Let me say that one more time. I never let the crowd determine my performance. Whether one person shows up on this live or 1,000 people show up on this live, I'm going to do my very best to articulate these ideas, these 5 points, the best that I can. Whether one person shows up or whether the 1,000 show up, I'm still going to bring my same energy. I'm not going to say, oh, well, let me see how many people are watching. I'm not going to say, oh, well, it's Friday night. Everybody's probably out doing something else. No, it doesn't matter to me. The audience doesn't determine my performance. Me honoring what I do, determines my performance. And so, guys, you got to honor what you do. Never let the crowd determine how you show up. I'm showing up with my A game every single time. Every time I got up to speak, every time. And I've spoken in public 2,173 times. 2,173 times I've spoken in public. And every single time I treated that 2,173rd time like it was my first time. I never said, oh, I've spoke about this before. I never said, this is time 2,000. I don't need to prepare. I prepare every single time like I've never done it before because I honor what I do. I honor what I do. So ask yourself, do you honor what you do? Do you honor what you do? When I go into a restaurant, and my waiter is waiting on me, if I come at the beginning of their shift or at the end of their shift, I expect excellent service. I don't want to hear, I've been on my feet all day. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. What can I get you? I hope you guys are not ordering a lot. I don't want to hear that. The same way, the same excellence that you had early in your shift, I want that same excellence if I come out. That's how you should feel. That's how you should feel. That everybody's going to get your best. Everybody's going to get your best. So guys, as I get ready to get out of here, let's go over it one more time. Number one, you pick one thought and you pick one idea. One thought, one idea that you can share with the world. My one thought, my one idea, genius potential. I believe that there's a better person in all of us. I believe that there's a better person in all of us that needs to be discovered, that needs to be developed, that needs to be released. I believe that about each and every one of us. Each and every one of you have that special something. Every single one of them. Number two, be consistent. Be consistent. You can go back, guys, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I've been saying the same message, live genius. I've been saying the same message for 20 years, live genius. For 20 years, check me. Before Facebook, before YouTube, before Twitter, I've been saying the same message for 20 years. My partner, who's been my partner for 20 years, Dr. V, is on. He can vouch for this. He's been talking about productivity for 20 years. I've been talking about genius for 20 years. Live genius for 20 years. Be consistent. Number three, create content. Put your ideas somewhere that they can live. When I die, people are still going to be able to buy this book and say, what did this man have to say about living genius? Long after I'm gone, years and years after I'm dead, people will be able to pick up this book. Number four, leverage your relationships. Leverage your relationships. Get around the most powerful people that you can be around and find ways to collaborate. Not compete, but collaborate. That's right, Michelle. Be productive or be replaced. That's what my man Dr. V says all the time. Be productive or be replaced. That's his tagline. That's his one idea. Be productive or be replaced. So leverage your relationships. And then the last thing we just talked about, honor what you do, guys. Honor what you do. Never let the crowd determine how you show up. Whatever it is, whatever service you're doing, whatever product you're providing, no matter what it is. If you're working a 9 to 5, show up. Honor it. Honor it. It's not about, do I like my boss? It's not about, do I like my colleagues? My colleagues don't determine how I'm going to show up. My colleagues don't determine that. My boss don't even determine how I show up. Because I'm going to honor what I do. Because I honor me. I honor me. My signature is going on my work. My signature is going on my behavior. So I'm going to honor me. It's not predicated on if the boss like me, don't like me. It's not predicated on if my colleagues like me or not. Man, I'm bringing my A game. I'm bringing my A game every single time. I'm going to make you uncomfortable if you want to be average. I'm going to make you ask me stuff like, Dr. Will, why you show up early all the time? Will, why you working late? So, cause I'm going to honor what I do. I'm going to honor what I do, guys. These are the 5 things. When I think about it, when people ask me all the time, how did you go from being virtually unknown to being known around the world, traveling to 50 different countries, being on the biggest stages, collaborating with the biggest names in the industry? How did you do it? How did you do it? These are the 5 things I did, guys. 5 things I did. Now look at them. See where you are. Have you picked your one thought? Have you picked your one idea? Then ask yourself, how consistent am I? How consistent am I in delivering this content? How consistent am I communicating this idea? And then create content. How much content am I creating around this idea? And then how am I collaborating? How am I leveraging my relationships? And then honor what you do, guys. These are the 5 things that I did to build my business, to build my brand, to build my income, guys. These are the 5 things I did. This is the recipe, guys. This is the 5 things that I did. So I hope it helps you out. Listen, if you know a speaker, an author, a consultant, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a career professional that needs to hear this message, this training, this whatever you want to call it, please tag them, share it with them. It will change somebody's life. Somebody's been asking, man, how can I go from point A to point B? How can I increase my influence so I can increase my income? Somebody's asked that question today. Somebody is frustrated because they're not getting traction in their business. And I guarantee you, it's probably one of these things. They probably haven't been crystal clear on what they want to deliver, their one idea. They probably haven't been consistent. They probably haven't created content around it. They probably haven't leveraged relationships correctly. Or they probably are not honoring what they do. I guarantee you, your problem, their problem, my problem, whenever I get off track, I come back to these 5 things. Will, are you consistent? When I see myself being pulled to the left or to the right, I come back and say, Will, you're not acting like you're clear. You're not acting like you're clear. How does this fit into your overall message? How does this fit into your overall message? You're over there in left field, come back over in center field. And I ask myself one of these questions. Beginning of this year, I asked myself the leverage question. I asked myself the leverage question. Will, are you leveraging the relationships that God has blessed you with? Are you leveraging those relationships? How are you leveraging those relationships? How are you leveraging those relationships? How are you maximizing those relationships? What relationships do you need to go back to? Hold on just a second, guys. Hold on. Because I want to take this moment because I want you to see that I'm not just talking from the top of my head. I want you to see factual and actual what I'm talking about, guys, and the type of stuff that I do. So literally at the beginning of this year, I took this notebook and here I'm writing down every country that I've been to, and I'm writing the prevailing thought or the prevailing idea from that country, right? I'm sourcing content. What did you learn when you went to Ghana, Will? What did you learn when you went to Nigeria? What did you learn when you went to Italy? What did you learn when you went to Spain? What did you learn when you went to France? What did you learn when you went to Croatia? What did you learn when you went to Liechtenstein? What did you learn when you went to Kosovo? What did you learn when you went to Bosnia? What did you learn when you went to Switzerland? What did you learn when you went to Poland? What did you learn when you went to Macedonia? What did you learn when you went to the Czech Republic? I'm asking myself these questions because I want to leverage, right? But let me show you this. The same thing. What state? Will. When you went to Nebraska, what did you learn? When you went to Colorado, what did you learn? When you went to Kentucky, what did you learn? When you went to Indiana, what did you learn? When you went to Illinois, what did you learn? When you went to Georgia, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., New York, Ohio, Alabama, Nevada, Mississippi, Florida, what did you learn, Will? What did you walk away with? What did you walk away with? Will, you've had the opportunity to sit at the feet of some amazing individuals. What did you learn? What did you learn? How are you leveraging that, right? So this is what I really want to show you guys. Conversations with millionaires. So Will, you've had over 150 conversations with millionaires. What did you learn from Ken Jennings? What did you learn from Sharon Lecter? What did you learn from Dave Meltzer? What did you learn from Tony Gaskins? What did you learn from Bill Pickard? What did you learn from Michael Roberts? What did you learn from Frank Shuckwitz? What did you learn from Bill Walsh, from Les Brown? What did you learn from Dale Jensen? What did you learn from Magic Johnson? What did you learn from Bill Bellamy? What did you learn from Jack Canfield? What did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? How are you leveraging these relationships? How are you leveraging them? How are you leveraging them? So at the beginning of this year, I went back and I said, oh man, I've had the opportunity to sit with some giants. I had the opportunity to sit with some giants. And besides, yeah, I learned how to increase my income. Yeah, right. I built my business. But what else did you learn? And so I went back and I started getting deep and saying these relationships. So I started reaching back out to each of these individuals. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm in the process of calling. I speak to one of them at least once a week, and we sit down for about an hour and we talk. And it's iron sharpening iron. And I'm telling them, this is where I was when I first met you. This is where I am now. And this is where I want to go. What lessons do I need to know right now? What lessons do I need to know right now? I'm getting ready to navigate this area right here. I just started another business. So what do I need to, what obstacles may be there that I need to look out for? So what did you learn, guys? All right? And start harnessing all of this information because it belongs to you. It belongs to you. This is what's in your backyard. This is what's in your garden. But if you don't tend to your garden, if you're not tending to your garden, how's it going to grow? How's it going to grow? All right. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope I shared something that made you think, that made you say, oh, I need to do that. And it makes your life ultimately better, guys. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. And I'll check up with you and check out with you later, guys. Peace.